Opposition protests Parliament. Banker killed by government truck. And oil fund sees huge third quarter increase. I am Rico Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-615. The leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, today led a walkout of opposition parliamentarians during today's session of the National Rum Shop, claiming that the PPP administration continues to turn the parliament into a body that does not represent the people of Guyana. Well, I mean, did it ever? Anyway, reading from a statement, Norton claimed that the government's unwillingness to address important issues like the high cost of living, the rise in poverty, the alleged bribery and corruption involving the vice president, their unwillingness to debate natural gas flaring, and now their unwillingness to permit the National Assembly to address the issue of the enactment of constitutional and statutory amendments to facilitate a clean voters list are all clear indications that the government is not doing its job. A Forest Partnership Memorandum of Understanding between the governments of Guyana and the European Union will be signed, under which Guyana will receive €5 million to aid in the preservation of our nation's forests. The MOU will be signed on November 8th in Egypt during the COP27. The MOU is in line with their promises to reduce climate change and all that eco-friendly stuff the West is obsessed about.
Blah, blah, blah. Green economy. Blah, blah, blah.
The foundation construction for the paved US $190 million Linden to Lethem Road has begun, and it is progressing forward. A recent Starbrook News visit to the site revealed that construction has begun in Linden and is spread out across a mile thus far. Constructadora Curezo S.A., the contractor, has established an office in Wismar, Linden, and is actively recruiting individuals to fill positions for laborers and skilled personnel. Additionally, equipment has been placed in use along the section of the road where fundamental work is being done. On Saturday, Kanu busted 4 men on 2 boats with over $14 million worth of cannabis and an illegal shotgun off the Quarantine coast. The officers arrested 44-year-old Adrian Hetmeyer and 20-year-old Daniel Passard, both from Belize, along with 2 Sudanese nationals, 41-year-old Seren Mohan and 48-year-old Imami Fizal. The suspects are currently in police custody. According to Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, the WHO's 2030 malaria mortality objective will be met in Guyana, as the Ministry of Health has a goal of reducing malaria death and cases by 2025. The WHO seeks to eradicate malaria in at least 35 nations, reduce malaria incidence and fatality rates by at least 90%, and stop the spread of malaria in all nations that are currently free of the disease. The WHO's goals have received great support from the government. Malaria is endemic in regions 1, 7, 8, 9, and certain areas of region 10, according to Dr. Anthony, who also mentioned that by implementing a robust plan, we will be able to modify this endemic nature of malaria in said regions. You're a hard-working truck owner. That's why you need only quality parts for your truck. But you might be asking, Noriko, now how will I ever afford them? Well, my friend, you need to go to Powered Automotive. They stock parts from Mack, International, Bedford TM, and all models of Cummins engines. Treat your truck right. Visit them at Lot 491 EE Eccles, or call or WhatsApp them on telephone number 697017. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. You can multiply your cash by selling Digicel Top-Up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. 44-year-old baker Anil Ramana was killed on the Fowles Public Road on the East Coast on Saturday afternoon after being knocked from his bicycle by a state-owned vehicle and then being run over by another car. The government truck was in a convoy carrying personnel from the Ministry of Public Works, according to the police force. Ramana was riding his bicycle at the time and had allegedly made an attempt to cross the street from north to south. And while doing so, he crossed in front of the third vehicle in the convoy, a pickup truck, and supposedly the back section of his bicycle and the front of the vehicle came into contact, sending him flying to his death and then getting struck by the other vehicle. Both drivers are currently being investigated. On Saturday, 27-year-old Delon Hendricks was murdered near the Lusignan public road on the East Coast. According to the police, he had numerous knife wounds to the neck. Investigators say he was stabbed to death after an altercation with an unknown man. And over in Trinidad, 40-year-old Guyanese national Yancey Fox is now battling for his life after being shot by two masked men on Thursday evening while standing outside of his home at Orange Grove Road in St. Augustine, Trinidad and Tobago. Fox remains hospitalized in a stable but critical condition with 2 gunshot wounds. The government recently disclosed that the administration is presently getting over 30 million of its carbon credits certified. The architecture for RED Plus transactions, a global record that compiles verified carbon credits, performs these certification process. Our president said in April of last year that Guyana and a US-based non-profit organization, Emergent Finance Accelerated Incorporated, had signed a letter of intent to market the nation's carbon credits through a credit contract. So, this is it in action. Now for today's oil update. The third quarter of 2022 saw Guyana earn a total of 102.8 billion Guyana dollars, which is the equivalent of 493.1 million US dollars. Included in this are royalties of 51 million US dollars and profit oil of 442.1 million US dollars. The Natural Resources Fund received these amounts for deposit. An extra FPSO was in service during this time, which resulted in more lifts and thus more profit oil than in previous quarters. This is why we've had our best performance so far. And also, given the fact that the US government has been raising interest rates throughout this time, we've also been gaining from that. There have been 16 lifts of profit oil since oil production started in 2019. That has generated 269.3 billion Guyana dollars, which is the equivalent of 1.2 billion US dollars in profit oil earnings and 31.9 billion Guyana dollars, or US $153.1 million in royalty payments.
As an independent online news entity, being politically objective can cost you a lot of money in lost sponsorship opportunities. That's because most local companies are often too scared to associate themselves with a news entity that is uncompromising with the truth. We do appreciate our sponsors, as their support is what has allowed us to maintain our integrity without fear and remain dedicated to you, our viewers. Every night, thousands of viewers rely on Uncut News because they are tired of the biased and poorly presented mainstream media in Guyana. But to truly compete, we need your help to grow Uncut News from being the most watched online news to the most watched news in Guyana, period. Help us by becoming a monthly subscriber today. There are special rewards at every subscription level, including your name in the credits, personalized gifts, and more. Your monthly contribution helps us to stay independent by spending less time worrying about paying the bills and more time on keeping you informed. So click the link in the description of this video and become a subscriber today.
It's November, which means it's officially robbery season. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Week. Currently on sale is this 2016 Toyota Crown Athlete. It comes with Bluetooth mount rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, back camera, and much, much more. Buy cars for $9.95 million. Or pay as low as $1.99 million down with around $170,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Or visit the showrooms at 171 Peter Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lama Street, and Southern America Century for this sweet deal. Now for our Uncut News Views Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose the question of current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. On Friday, I asked about the changes to the oil PSA, and how do you feel about it? Jay Jairam says the proposed new oil contracts are far better than the ones currently in place, while our Seaview Farm says they didn't get a chance to read it. Now for tonight's question. Do you support the opposition's decision to walk out of Parliament? Why or why not? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.